Hello and welcome to Keys to the Market with RaciaSellsHomes, Realtor at the House Store, serving Knox and surrounding counties. Today on this episode, we're going to talk about a buyer and a seller key. And my special guest today is Sheri Buckman with Go Notary Services. Our topic is the role of notary services in real estate and what every buyer and seller should know. Sheri, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and your company?
I would be happy to, but before I get started, I just want to disclose I am not an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Tennessee, and I may not give legal advice or accept fees for legal advice. Go Notary Services strives to provide reliable and professional mobile services. My background is over 20 years in the real estate industry, from a realtor, loan consultant, loan processor, and a title closing agent. These things have definitely played an important role in my past to get to where I am today, owning my own business since August of 23.
Awesome. And that is very important to note that she has such a varied background because she's going to be familiar with the documents that you need for a real estate transaction. So Go Notary, she's your girl. Okay, and if we don't cover anything that you want to specifically ask about in the podcast today, I'll have links so you can contact Sheri directly. You can contact her through her business, and I'll have my links as well. So anything we don't cover, just feel free to reach out to either of us, and we'll be happy to try to get those answers for you. So let's set the stage. What actually is a notary public?
A notary public, just wanted to give you guys a few fun facts. Way back in the ancient Rome days, when Christopher Columbus was an explorer, he had notaries tag along with him to log in all of the discoveries of those artifacts. Also, women could not be a notary back, they started, I believe, in the 1900s. So just a little helpful hint there. It's kind of fun to have those fun facts. But a notary public, you have to be at least 18 years of age, a U.S. citizen. You will apply an application through the county that you live in. And once you have been elected from the county legislative body, then you will go to the county clerk's office and be sworn in to be a notary public. You will also have to provide at least $10,000 security bond.
Okay, awesome. So why are notaries important to a real estate transaction?
They're very important, and with my label of my continuing ed, I am a certified signing agent. What that means is that I go through extensive background check, continuing education, so it helps with the lender and the title company of peace of mind, and my security bond is higher for those purposes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so how does the notarization process protect, if you will, buyers, sellers, or the lender?
It does protect, honestly, it's more of a peace of mind from the title and the lender, because I am doing the verification up front with that particular person. I usually ask for 2 forms of ID, because with the Patriot Act, the lender's really required to have 2 forms of ID. Of course, the driver's license as the primary, secondary, it could be an organization membership, social security card, and so on.
Okay, awesome. And having that verification of who is signing, that's very helpful, because I know sometimes as a realtor, we'll get somebody to call the office or email, and they want to list a property for sale. They don't actually own that property. Sometimes they may try to put it up for sale by owner. They don't own that property, but they're trying to sell it. So if a buyer sends a contract in, especially if they're doing it for sale by owner, because a realtor, when they do their due diligence, they'll catch that. But if it's a for sale by owner and it's not caught with a buyer, then if the notary is verifying who the person is, verifying signature, the identification, it's just another layer to try to help prevent that from happening. So it's very good to have that extra comfort knowing that she's verifying your signature and your identification. Okay, so moving right along with that, can you give us a brief overview of how the transaction works? I know you're not necessarily a party to the contract, but the stages of the contract that you would be, or the process you would be involved in, the financing, the closing, the recording of the deed, those things?
Yeah, I'm usually at the closing of the transaction. The title company will coordinate with me to go out to meet the buyer or the seller. I will reach out to them to confirm that time and date and reiterate on the verification documents they will need for me to start the process.
Okay, awesome. And then our next category is, what exactly does a notary do in a real estate transaction? So can you tell us about just a few of the documents? I know there's a lot,
Yeah.
but can you tell us about just a few of the documents that you would be notarizing?
Yeah, and of course, before I get started in the closing document process while I'm at your home, you will have to sign my journal. By law, I would have to have you sign each document that needs to be notarized will be in my journal, and then we'll start the process. And usually for a buyer, you're gonna have the deed of trust, there's heirs and omissions, compliance agreement, signature name affidavit, and then for the seller, there's of course the warranty deed, there's a shortage agreement, and a signature name affidavit. And depending on the circumstances, there is if you want to do your loan in a trust, you will also have to get that approved by the lender and title for the trust certificate. And also, if you have a husband that is out of state on business and you want to do a power of attorney, again, please disclose that to the title and to the lender, because that documents need to be prepared properly.
Yes, definitely don't wait till closing to say any of these things, because we do need time to prepare to make sure the closing can happen on the said closing date. Okay, so what is the difference between notarization and legal advice?
I cannot give any legal advice because I am not an attorney. Notarization, I am just verifying your signature, bottom line, making sure who you are is how you're signing is you.
There you go. And neither one of us can give legal advice, so if there are things you need to find out in that area, you would need to contact a real estate attorney to get those answers, and we can always refer you to one for that avenue as well. So what is the difference between an acknowledgement and a jurat?
Acknowledgement is everything on the document is fact. A jurat is that you are affirming, sworn to me, that it is true and correct document.
Okay. And then what does a notary verify during the signing?
Their signature.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why, of course, I have you sign in my journal, because I am verifying your signature on how you're going to sign throughout the closing documents.
Okay, awesome. And then, so the closing process and the notary's role. So what happens during the real estate closing?
I am going through the process. First of all, I'm just verifying everything, but I am going through the process of the title documents with you, briefly explaining if I need to explain the documents. I cannot go into detail. If you have detailed questions on the lending program, that you would have to talk to your loan consultant, or title information you would have to discuss with them. But just a brief overview, I'm more than happy to help you.
Okay, awesome. And then, so who is typically present at a closing?
That is definitely, if it's a buyer, an individual, or the seller, we try to make them come separately because of lending information for the buyer. We don't want to have that out front and open to everyone. It's privacy.
Okay, and that is important to note, because if you're the buyer, you don't necessarily want the seller to sit there and hear what your interest rate is and what your payment is, and all of your financial information that's personal. So it is always a good idea to have the seller and the buyer sign at separate times. Okay, so what is a signing agent versus a general notary?
Signing agent like myself, again, you have to go through a background check. Actually, it's a 10-year background check and the continuing education, just to keep abreast on the lending information. A notary, no, not downplaying but they don't have that background. You just wanna make sure when you're doing the loan documents that they are a certified signing agent.
Okay, that's very important to note the difference in that. Okay, so how does a notary signing agent coordinate with the title company, the lender, the escrow officer? How does all that work?
I honestly, unless it's a refinance, which that's another story, but I wouldn't contact the lender on the real estate purchase transaction. It's mainly the title company.
Okay, awesome. And then what happens after the documents are notarized?
After the documents are notarized, depending on the escrow instructions, I will, if it's a local title company, I'm more than happy to deliver them to them that day or the following morning. Sometimes they like them scanned, so I will scan the documents, upload them into their protected portal, and then ship them FedEx, UPS, whatever the instructions are telling me to do.
Okay, awesome. And then our last little section, and this is always the question everybody wants to ask, and I know the answer is going to be varied. What are the costs or fees associated with notary services?
Like I said, it does vary depending on buyer loan documents versus the seller documents. Everything's gonna vary, so just give me a call and we could work that out.
Okay, awesome. Kind of the same as when you're looking at title expenses, you can always call the title company and get a preliminary estimate. Now, keep in mind, when you get that preliminary estimate, though, it can change based on different variants. So when you get the estimate, that's exactly what it is, an estimate, so just keep that in mind.
And just a helpful hint too, usually the title company, I'm negotiating with them on a flat rate, and that will be disclosed in your Alta settlement as well.
Okay, awesome. And then are the fees regulated?
No.
Okay. And then who pays for the notary services? The buyers, the sellers, the lenders?
Usually the buyer, if that's who I'm representing, the buyer will pay, and again, the seller will pay for their separate notary fee.
Okay, awesome. And then our last one, is there a cost difference between standard notarization and loan document signing?
Yes, just a general notary, I have a travel fee, and then per stamp, I have a small per stamp fee. The loan documents, I just do a flat fee, and same with the seller, it's just a flat fee.
Okay, awesome. So is there anything you can think of that we didn't cover that you think the buyers or sellers should know?
Yeah, I have true to my heart, I love to help the veterans or even VA students at the college. I try to help them discount the fee as well. I am also a trust delivery agent certified, so I am familiar with the will preparation and trust if you need those notarized as well. And always think of me as your go-go girl, because I am very helpful, and I have true to my heart to help each individual.
Okay, awesome. So that was great information, some fun facts in there too. So thank you for joining me today. And like I said earlier in the podcast, I will have links. So if you have further questions, feel free to reach out to Sheri or myself. We'll be more than happy to try to answer those for you. And just remember, if you or anyone you know is looking to buy or sell, RaciaSellsHomes, Realtor at the House Store, where every move matters.